Trump threatens to invoke Insurrection Act. Here's why it's a controversial move. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, which has not been utilized by a U.S. president in more than 3 decades. Trump has signaled an eagerness to send the military to several U.S. cities, mostly led by elected officials from the Democratic Party, to quell what he and others in his administration have characterized as out-of-control crime. So far, legal battles are playing out between the Trump administration and officials in Illinois, California, and Oregon, who have not solicited or welcomed the federal intervention. But the president could try to take a more authoritative approach to doing so. "If I had to enact it, I'd do that," he said on Monday. "If people were being killed and courts were holding us up or governors or mayors were holding us up, sure, I'd do that. I mean, I want to make sure that people aren't killed. We have to make sure that our cities are safe." Here's a look at the history and the controversy surrounding declaring an insurrection. The Insurrection Act gives the U.S. President the power to deploy the military or federalize National Guard troops inside to stop uprisings and rebellions. While the law is commonly referred to as the Insurrection Act of 1807 because that was the year then-President Thomas Jefferson signed it into law, experts like Stephen Vladeck, a law professor at Georgetown University, have pointed out in recent weeks that the role of the military in domestic law enforcement is outlined not in just one act but in a series of statutes passed from the late 18th century to 1871. The Insurrection Act can essentially override the Posse Comitatus Act, passed in 1878, that law generally bars the federal branches of the military from engaging in the law enforcement responsibilities that rest with local authorities. Under the invocation of the Insurrection Act, troops can perform searches or make arrests. There is a long American tradition of keeping the federal military out of civilian affairs. The nation's founders, having witnessed abuses by the British military during colonial times, feared that giving the president unlimited control over troops would erode civil liberties, constitutional scholars have said.